Dear students, in our previous class, we have studied about the transport phenomenon in semiconductors, in which we have seen the drift current as well as diffusion current. Drift current is due to the application of electric field, whereas the diffusion current is due to the existed concentration gradient. So in our today's class, we are going to understand some important concept, that is equation of continuity. So basically this equation of continuity deals with conservation of charge within a given volume of semiconductor in a given time. That means the basic principle involved in dealing with equation of continuity is the conservation of charge. That means charge can neither be created nor destroyed in a given volume and time. Now in order to understand or in order to derive the equation of continuity, let us consider a semiconductor block. Now if you consider a semiconductor block, and to understand the conservation of charge in a small volume, I am considering here a very small volume of volume A into dx. That means this A represents the area of the surface, that is the volume element that we have considered, the area of the surface of the volume element, especially the side surface. For example, this is the area of the surface of the volume element that we have considered from here to here. That means the length of this particular volume element is dx and area of the side surface is A, so that the volume of this element is given by A into dx. Now we are going to derive the equation for conservation of charge or equation of continuity for this particular region, this particular entire region. This total region we are going to consider the small element, and hence we are going to see the conservation of charge within this considered volume of element. Now let us consider, when you apply some electric field across this particular semiconductor block, for example, I have applied here the current, some battery across, applied some bias across this particular semiconductor block, then what happens is the current will be flowing from one end to, for example, left end to right end. This is the flow of current direction. And if you take this particular small box and let us consider an amount of I current is entering into this block, whereas an amount of I plus di is leaving from this block. That means the excess amount that is coming from this block is di. That means from where this di is coming, and how we are going to consider the conservation of charge within this block. If you want to understand the conservation of charge within this block, first we need to understand how charge can be produced or how charge can be taken away from this box or from this small volume element. Let us consider, if you take a semiconductor and it will be consisting of, we know that conduction band and valency band, and whenever you give some energy to this particular semiconductor, the energy of, for example, equivalent to the energy band gap. So let us consider this is the energy band gap, E suffix g, and if you give such energy, then what happens is, for example, this is the valency band and this is the conduction band. And what happens when you give some energy to this semiconductor, the energy is equivalent to this energy band gap, then what happens is some electrons will be excited from valence band to conduction band. That means we are actually creating a hole in valence band and electron in the conduction band. That means we have actually generated some carriers due to the excitation process. The process of exciting electron from valence band to conduction band and creating or producing the holes in valence band and electrons in conduction band is known as carrier generation. This is carrier generation. That means some electrons and holes are formed within this particular region because of the available energy. In this particular case, the available energy is the thermal energy. Let us consider. Now we have produced some number of charged carriers within this small block. And similarly, how do we take away these charged particles or the carriers from this block? We have seen one way of removing the charged particles from this is due to the current that is flowing out of this block, that is due to the transport mechanism. Some amount of the charge is removed from this block due to the transport mechanism. That means Di is the excess amount of current that is taken away from this particular block. Now there will be also one more process of removing the charge from this block, that is known as recombination process. What do you mean by recombination process? Let us see here. Now this is the conduction band and this is the valence band. This is conduction band and this is valence band, and we have seen due to the generation process we have here electron in conduction band and we have hole in valence band, and we know that conduction band is the excited band, so that electron cannot stay there forever. That means what? So there will be some lifetime for this electron which is present in the conduction band, which is previously excited due to the generation process. Now after completing the lifetime within the conduction band, what happens is this electrons comes to valence band. Then what happens is it will recombine with the hole that is present in the valence band. Because of recombination, what is happening is we are actually removing the electron from conduction band and we are removing the hole from the valence band. That means we are actually decreasing the number of available charged carriers for the conduction. We are decreasing the number of available charged carriers. So we have seen just now two processes of removing the charged particles from the considered volume of ADX. Volume is ADX. This is the volume element of volume ADX. What is the first one is the transport phenomenon, and second one is recombination phenomenon. Recombination. And we have seen for producing the charged particles within this block, we have seen only one process, that is actually carrier generation. So now we are going to take all these processes, transport phenomenon, carrier generation and recombination phenomenon, and apply the principle of conservation of charge within this block and try to see what will be the equation that will get, or we are going to derive for governing the conservation of charge within this considered value. Now let us go for, within this block I am considering the conservation of charge. That means the amount of charge that is actually increased, okay, no, that is nothing but within this block how much charge is generated, that is called generation of charge, and how much charge is lost. Now in general this charge will be generated within the block due to excitation process. This is also known as thermal excitation. So due to thermal excitation, we are actually increasing the number of charged particles within the block. On the other hand, this particular loss of charge or removing the charge from the block has two parts. First one is, as we studied already, recombination, and the second one is due to transport mechanism. Transport mechanism. So if you know the expression for thermal excitation, that means if you know the expression for the charge that is produced due to the thermal excitation, and if you know the expression for charge that is removed due to the recombination, and also if you know the expression for the charge that is removed due to the transport mechanism, and substitute in this particular equation number 1, then what we will get is, we'll actually get the increase in the charge within this particular semiconductor block of volume element having value AdX. Now we can also write down the expression for increasing charge and equate it to the difference of generation of charge and loss of the charge. So in next step, what we are going to do is, we are going to write down the expression for increasing charge, generation of charge and loss in charge, and substitute those equations in this particular equation number 1, so that we will get the expression for the expression which governs the conservation of charge. Now let us try to write down the equations. For example, if you try to write down the expression for increase in the charge, for example, let us consider let us consider a n-type semiconductor. Let us consider an n-type semiconductor, and in n-type semiconductor, what I am going to take is, I am going to consider the minority charge carriers. Those are holes. Minority carriers are holes, which are generally the concentration of hole concentration, or the concentration of hole is represented with P. Now in our block that we have considered, I am going to take one minute. I am just trying to draw the block. Yeah, this is the block. You have seen. Now this is the volume element that we have considered, and we are going to consider this block is made up of with n-type semiconductor. Within this block, I am trying to understand the conservation of minority charged particles. That means I am going to see the carrier concentration of holes, the rate of change of carrier concentration of holes, or the rate of change of minority carriers in a semiconductor block. Now you may ask me a question that why do we need to consider the conservation of charge for minority charged particles? Because when you are applying all these processes, recombination, generation, transportation, etc., if you take the majority carriers in n-type, those are electrons, and in n-type we know that these are the majority carriers. That means already we have these electrons or the majority carriers in large number. That means, let us say this is an ocean of electrons are present. Because of this process, that is generation, transportation or recombination, there will be a slight change in particular concentration of electrons. That means you are removing or adding a small bucket of water to the ocean. Then we may not expect an increase in your charge concentration. That means what? A considerable amount of charge is not going to be affected because of this process, the recombination or generation or transportation. So we are not considering these particular electrons for this process. That's why, whereas if you take minority carrier concentration, we have minority carriers only small in number. That means we have already only a small number, let us say a bucket of water we have. You are adding some more water to this bucket, then we can easily see the change in water or change in this particular amount of concentration, so that we can actually realize whether the amount of charge is increased or decreased. So that is the reason why I have chosen here N-type semiconductor, and I am going to understand the conservation of charge for the minority carrier instead of the majority carriers. This is about the introduction to the N-type semiconductor and why I have taken the minority carriers for considering the conservation of charge. Now let us consider, after considering the minority carriers, now let us consider dP by dt. dP by dt. P means the concentration of holes in a semiconductor, in a N-type semiconductor. dP by dt represents the rate at which the concentration of holes is changing. The concentration of holes is changing. That means what? It will give you the number of holes that are actually changing in a given time, or it represents the number that is changing with respect to time. Number of holes, number of minority carriers. Now what we are doing is we are multiplying with ADX. What do you mean by ADX? It is the volume of the element of the block that we have considered. Now what I will get here, volume into number, that means I will get the total number of holes that are actually changing with the time. How? Till now ADX into dP by dt will give you only the number. Now if I want to know, instead of number that is changing with respect to time, if I want to know the number, instead of knowing this number, if I want to know the charge that is changing with the time, that means if I have the number and multiply with charge, this is what? This is nothing but charge. This is nothing but charge and this is nothing but number. Right. This is nothing but number. So number multiplied by charge. Okay, now you will get the actually the increase in the charge. That means the rate at which the charge of the minority carriers is increasing in the considered volume ADX. This is the expression for increase in the charge. I just considered the rate at which the number is changing, so multiplied with the volume, so that I will get the rate at which the number of holes is changing in a considered volume, that is ADX, and if you multiply with charge, then you will get actually the increase in the charge within the considered value. So this is, let us consider equation number A. So we got the expression for increase in charge, that is we consider as equation number A. Now similarly, let us write down the equations for generation of charge as well as loss of charge and consider the equations corresponding to these equations. Number B, equation number B for generation of charge and equation number C for loss of charge, and substitute A, B, C equations and equation number 1, so that we will get an equation which governs the rate at which the concentration or the rate at which the charge of the minority carriers is changing within the considered volume in a N-type semiconductor. That's what we are going to see. This is the procedure. Now after writing down the equation number A for increasing charge, let us go for generation of charge and let us see how the charge is generated within the considered volume. As I already told you, charge will be generated due to the excitation process, and in this particular case I am considering the excitation is taking place because of the available thermal energy. That means we are taking the semiconductor at particular temperature, because of which there will be some excitation. I am considering that the available thermal energy is greater than or equal to the energy banding up of the semiconductor that I have considered. Then what happens is there will be excitation due to the thermal energy available. Because of the available thermal energy, then what happens is there will be a thermal rate of generation of holes within your semiconductor. For example, here I am considering the thermal generation of holes, that is represented, the rate at which the generation of holes is taking place is given by G, and it is nothing but P naught by tau. What is this P naught by tau? It is very simple. P naught represents the number of holes that are created in a time of tau. That means what? I am considering a time that is tau, general time tau. Within the time tau, let us consider, because of thermal excitation, there are P0 number of holes are created. Now, I want to know how many number of holes that are created in 1 second. That means this is 1 second. How many number of holes are created? That is nothing but 1 into P0 by tau. That is nothing but the thermal rate of generation. That means the number of holes that are created per unit time, that we have considered as P naught by tau. And if you substitute this P naught by tau in this particular equation, that is E ADX into G. Again same, G represents the number of holes that are generated, and ADX into G represents again number within the entire volume of ADX, and multiplying with the charge will give you the total positive charge that is generated because of thermal excitation. So this is the meaning of this E ADX into Z. Now if you substitute the value of G, P naught by tau, you will get the expression for the generation of charge within the semiconductor block. E ADX P naught by tau, that is considered, this is equation number B. Now let us take the next process, that is loss in the charge, and try to write down the expression for that. Now as I said previously, the loss in the charge within the semiconductor block is taking place because of two processes. First one is the recombination process, and the second one is transportation process. Now what do you mean by recombination? Recombination is taking place because of the limited available lifetime. That means after completing the lifetime, electrons are coming from, or electrons are actually de-exciting from conduction band to valence band and recombining with holes, because of which we are actually losing the number of holes. Now similarly, let us consider the rate of recombination in this particular case as G prime. Then we try to write down the expression for rate of recombination. Now here the first term represents the charge that is actually lost due to the recombination process. So I am considering G dash is nothing but the rate of recombination of holes. That means the number of holes that are actually lost because of recombination process within the your semiconductor block. That is given by, for example, P by tau. That means what? In tau second, the number of holes that are actually recombined is P, and in 1 second, how many number of holes that are recombined? That means how many number of holes that we have actually lost due to recombination process, P by tau. So if you multiply this number with volume, will get the total number of holes that are recombined within a volume of ADX, and if you multiply again with charge, you will get the total charge that is lost due to the recombination process within the volume of ADX. Very good. Now this is one process that is actually responsible for loss of charge within the block. Now the second process is the rate of transportation. As I already told you, we have considered the semiconductor block, and we also consider, let us consider within this block I current is actually entering, I current is entering into this block, and how much current is leaving from this block? We have considered that I plus di current is actually flowing out of from these blocks. That means what? How much current is actually excessively it is going out. Excess current that is going out is di. That means the corresponding charge to this di is actually removed from this particular block of volume A into dx. That means now I am considering the total charge that is removed from this particular block due to transportation is di per unit second. So that I will get the charge. Di represents what? The total charge that is removed from the block due to transportation mechanism in a unit time, that is di. Now this particular expression C represents for the rate of loss of charge in our semiconductor block that we have considered. Now, as we already discussed, we need to substitute equations A, B, C in equation number 1 in order to get the actual expression for the conservation of holes that is in your semiconductor block that we have considered. Let us take it and substitute these three equations in. For example, I have rewritten the equation number 1 here and substituting the equations A, B, C in this particular expression. Now for example, we have already seen this equation number A, that is that represents the increase in the charge is given by this term, whereas this is equation number A, and the generation of charge that is given by this expression, that is equation number B, minus loss in charge. Loss in charge is given by this particular entire expression because of recombination and transportation. This we have considered the equation number C. Now after substituting this equation A, B, C in equation number 1, we got this particular expression. I am just rewriting this term by dividing with this particular E into A dx on both sides. Divide this equation on both sides with E into A dx, then we will get the expression for the rate at which the minority carrier charge is actually changing within the considered volume is given by this particular expression. dP by dt is equal to P0 by tau minus of P by tau plus di by EA into dx. We can also rewrite this particular expression as follows. So dP by dt is equal to P0 minus P by tau minus 1 by EA into di by dx. That means I have just taken this as single term, di by dx as single term. Actually I have written this particular di by dx as this term I have written here. Di by dx, EA is remained outside. So now our aim is to understand what is this di by dx. This is looking like current gradient or charge gradient. If you take per unit time, it will be charge gradient. How do we understand this? And for understanding this one, now we are going to actually apply the transport mechanism. What do you mean by transport mechanism? So this expression represents change in current due to the, or change in current with respect to dx. That means if you take a spatial distance, how much the positive charge is actually changed, that we are considering. Now if you wanted to understand this particular term, we need to apply the transport mechanism for holes. Transport mechanism for holes, that we are going to understand. We are going to apply and write down from the transport mechanism for holes, we are going to write down the expression for di by dx. Then we will get the equation number 3. That equation will be substituted again in our equation number 2. Let us going to try to see how do we apply this particular, how do we find this di by dx by using transport mechanism for holes. Let us consider the transport mechanism for holes. So we have seen in our previous class that the total current due to holes is given by actually that current due to drift. That means the whole current due to drift. Sorry, let me erase this. We need to consider drift current of holes as well as diffusion current of holes. The first term represents drift current and second term represents the diffusion current for holes. Here Ex represents the applied electric field, mu H represents the mobility of the holes, P represents the carrier concentration of holes, whereas dP represents the diffusion constant of holes. This we have seen in our previous class. Now we are going to write down this current density in terms of current. So the expression for current density is given by I by A. Now just take this A to the right side, then you will get I is equal to EA into mu HP Ex minus dP into dP by dx. Now what we need actually in equation number 2, we need di by dx, but here from this particular transport mechanism for hole we got expression for I only. So if you want to get di by dx, we need to differentiate this equation with x. That means we need to do this expression differentiation. We need to do, that means we need to calculate actually di by dx. We need to do di by dx. What you will get is just do the differentiation with respect to x. Then we will get di by dx is equal to EA mu H is constant taken out, d by dx of PE written within the bracket minus EA dP into d2P by dx square, because already here we have d by dx and once again we are doing differentiation, so second derivative is coming d2P by dx square. So this is the expression for di by dx. We are calling it as equation number 3. Now what we need to do is just we need to substitute this equation number 3 in equation number 2. So let us consider again the equation number 2 for our understanding. This is the equation number 2. dP by dt is equal to minus P0 by tau minus 1 by EA into di by dx. Now from the equation number 3 we got the expression for di by dx. Then now substitute this value in di by dx. That means substitute equation number 3 in equation number 2. What we will get is, we will get this particular expression for the which actually governs the conservation of holes or the conservation of minority carriers in a n-type semiconductor in a given volume of A into dx of. So this is very important equation, which is also known as equation of continuity. Why we are calling it as equation of continuity means it actually explains the conservation of charge. It is actually considering all the processes that are present in transporting or in continuing the charge within this particular block. That means either creation, either generation, or removing, or transportation, that we have considered. If you rearrange this particular equation, what you will get is, we will get dP by dt is equal to P0 minus P by tau minus mu H into d Pex by dx plus dP into d2P by dx square. I just multiplied with this 1 by EA in this particular bracket terms. Then we got this final expression. This is known as equation of continuity or continuity equation for minority carriers in n-type semiconductor, which tells that this equation governs the conservation of minority carriers in n-type semiconductors, or conservation of charge within the n-type semiconductor. The physical significance of this particular equation of continuity is it explains the conservation of charge within the considered volume of a semiconductor in a unit time. That is the physical significance of this equation. Thank you.